9 on your side, I-Team investigation. A 13-year-old boy is in the Hamilton County Detention Center tonight, charged with shooting a 14-year-old.
And that is just one of hundreds of gun-related crimes committed by children every year in our area. 9 on your side, I-Team reporter Craig Cheatham went in search of why so many kids are pulling the trigger. He's joining us now live from East Price Hill. Craig?
Craig and Tanya, this is where a 13-year-old is accused of shooting a 14-year-old in broad daylight. The 13-year-old is now being prosecuted in juvenile court on a charge of felonious assault. Tonight, the I-Team investigates why so many children are carrying guns and if we've missed an important opportunity to address it. He's a baby-faced 13-year-old child with a tattoo on his left arm. The young defendant is now accused of shooting a 14-year-old. He's being held in Hamilton County Juvenile Detention, where more than half of the inmates are charged with a crime involving a gun.
Guns are about power. It gives them the power to defend themselves. It makes a statement for them that they can't make on their own.
Pastor Ennis Tate says children living in poverty, surrounded by drugs and violence, are the ones most likely to use a gun.
You'll typically find the children who are most disturbed are trying to process things that are going on at home, in their community, in their city, and wherever their surroundings are.
The 13-year-old's older brothers, two of his most influential role models, have long criminal records and are also being held in juvenile detention. The 13-year-old was expelled from school last year. After that, the cases started piling up and charges got more serious.
All this combines to create this sort of recipe for disaster that we're seeing.
Juvenile Court Administrative Judge John Williams says a 40% cut in government funding has made the court's job even tougher.
It's got to have an impact on the kids and the
does.
families and the people who are trying to help them.
It does have an impact.
And what is that impact?
It's some level of decrease in service, right? Because you're chasing cases.
Judge Williams says the juvenile court's most successful program targets high school seniors. Students who complete it have a much higher graduation rate than ones who don't.
The juvenile court has done a lot to try to prevent some things from happening, but it's hard for us to even have confidence in the juvenile court system right now.
That lack of confidence is based on what people see and feel, and the impact it has in neighborhoods that are mostly poor and African American. The I-Team confirmed black children in Hamilton County are much more likely to get arrested, sent to detention, and tried as adults. Our investigation also found children in juvenile court are not part of the city taxpayer-funded Cincinnati initiative to reduce violence, which is widely credited with helping the city reduce shootings, even though hundreds of children commit violent crimes here every year.
The system has failed the children, and the system has failed the parents or the mother.
We need, at this point, aftercare and other type care that would reach out into the community more aggressively to work with families, because the families are really where it's either going to get better or not.
Back in court, the mother of the 13-year-old accused shooter reaches toward him and asks a question. He turns to her and looks confused. A minute later, the court-appointed guardian who just met the boy now tries to reassure him. At peace, as this 13-year-old accused gunman walks away, there is no one in the courtroom who feels at peace.